From classrooms to the field, truth and laughter both revealed. Tune in for that special feel. Nampa School's always real. Welcome to Nampa, where dreams can grow. Matt and Tyler on the show. Welcome to Nampa, where dreams can grow. Matt and Tyler on the show. Welcome to Nampa, hear the beat. Join the podcast, take your seat.
All right, welcome into the Nampa School District podcast. This is season 2, episode 13, which I titled From a Hawk to a Bronco.
Yeah, weird evolution.
Weird evolution going on there. For those of you that don't remember, or maybe this is your first time joining us, my name is Tyler Keefe, and I am the digital communications specialist for the Nampa School District. And on my left, and as always, the center of everyone's heart, one Matthew J. Sizemore.
That is correct. Hello, Tyler. Thank you. I am Matt Sizemore, as you mentioned, Community and Media Relations here for the Nampa School District, and I am so excited for an amazing episode that we have for you all. Of course, this episode brought to you by CapEd Credit Union. CapEd, it's more than banking. It's making a difference.
And before we hit play on the CapEd video, you'll notice if you're watching on video that the seat is actually empty.
2 seats.
2 seats, although they can only see one in the picture now because I moved the camera.
Oh.
Because we did something a little different where we pre-recorded the podcast and now we're doing the intro.
That's right.
And so it's just going to be a little awkward for a little bit. But hey, that's why we just hit play on the CapEd Credit Union video and we'll just let it roll from there.
Yeah. And so we're going to play that and be right back with 2 amazing guests.
Between work, traffic, practices, and recitals, I don't have time to worry if one of my kids needs money. Like money they can use now. That's what I love about CapEd's Rise Youth account. I can transfer funds to my kids' account instantly. And they can use a debit card to make purchases without paying any fees or monthly subscriptions. As long as they have their phone, I know they have money. But do they always have their phone? Yes. Yes, they do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is our honor to have on the Nampa School District podcast today redshirt junior for the Boise State Broncos, quarterback Max Cutforth. Max, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, and joining him alongside, I should say, Skyview head coach David Robison. At the time, Coach Roby, the offensive coordinator for Skyview during Max's time. That sounds about right?
That's correct.
Okay, well, thank you both for joining us today. A lot of awesome questions. Max, obviously, you finally got some opportunities this last season at Boise State to show what you got, finishing the season. Correct me if I'm wrong, 1,059 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 picks. Good season. I mean, when we got to see you, I already said I'm not going to talk about San Diego State, but, you know, a lot of rain, a lot of stuff going on, so, you know, whatever with the passing game there, or the play calling, but a great season for you. But let's start with this. Obviously, you spent 3 years at Skyview, sophomore, junior, senior year, and then you made the jump, you could say, to Boise State. During your time here in the Nampa School District at Skyview, was there any, I guess, a moment or coach or person, and no pressure with him sitting right next to you, that really stands out? Maybe it's
know the answer.
like a turning point, or where was it at your time in Skyview where you said you took the reins and you finally said, I know I could be something real special?
Yeah. I mean, coming from CUNA, like we were talking about, you know, we knew Wyatt Storr, who was the quarterback here before. He was 2 quarterbacks before me. He played football with my older brother, and he had nothing but good things to say about Roby. And, you know, we were kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to play football in college, and ultimately got in touch with Roby and decided, like, we wanted to go to Skyview, open enroll at Skyview, and that's what we did. And coming to Skyview was everything that, you know, he talked about it to be, getting to know Roby more. And then really that first year, you know, I felt a ton of the guys just pour into me, and you know, I found some of my best friends for life there. That class older with, you know, Koyo, Coach Young, and his kid. That older group really took me in, and they were nothing but great people to me. And then obviously with Thad, Coach Roby's kid, and you know those kids in my class, it was the same deal. Like they they're going to be my best friends for life. You know, I'm still in touch with them, hang out with them all the time. But those were some of the biggest people that, you know, helped me out in my time at Skyview.
So this guy right here played a big part in bringing you over.
Bringing me over, yeah. And then I'm sure we'll get into it more, but prepared me for college and what, you know, college football is like.
Huh. Coach, talk about that a little bit. How'd you find out about this guy, and how did that all come about on your end?
So I think it was in 8th grade. I think we started having. I met Max at an Optimist football game, and you know, it was a little awkward that first meeting, but you know, we both didn't really know what to say to each other. But you know, it was kind of how our relationship started, and Max came to a few things to kind of see how things were and how things were going, and he decided he wanted to stay with his friends, and CUNA decided he wasn't good enough to play quarterback at CUNA, so like we definitely benefited from that. And Max made the jump there in his sophomore year, and you know, there was definitely a relationship there with the Storr family. Wyatt was I had a great relationship with Wyatt, and I think that kind of translated into our relationship and set a foundation for our, Max and I's relationship, because I think Max is a similar competitor to Wyatt. They're both really competitive people, and they want to achieve at the highest levels, especially in football. So I think a love for football kind of bonded us together. Love for throwing the football, especially, and you know, figuring out how to do that at a high level. So yeah, it's been a great relationship, and it still continues. But now Max is more coach. Like, he comes in and teaches me Boise State offense and what they're doing, and
In the off season, let's throw it out there.
I take the notes. Yeah. After the season was over, he said, "Hey, coach, I want to come talk ball." So we probably spent about 3 hours till Max got in trouble with his dad.
Got in trouble for my dad for being late to a lunch.
We probably would have gone 2 more hours or something like that.
Lost track of time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a great bond. You know, Thad, my oldest son, is good friends with Max as well, and like Max spent a lot of time at my house with my kids. And
oh, great!
So like Max is kind of a part of the family in a lot of ways, and we've just had a great relationship, and he even plays basketball with me sometimes if I can talk him into coming out. So we have a good time.
Again, in the off season.
In the off season.
Yeah.
In the off season.
Now, one thing I want to mention, because I started this role your senior year, and I remember watching you play that year on the field, and you know, all that stuff was awesome, but never thought, okay, we got BSU starting quarterback here. And then I go back and I look at some of the film that I have. I'm like, okay, I can see it now. But at the time I couldn't, because I'm just taking pictures on the sideline kind of thing. But the other side of it is it's the academic, the social piece at being at Skyview, because you were up on stage. I still remember it when you were the graduation speeches, all that stuff. And you were shouting at your friends, shouting out volleyball. I want to say like 4 or 5 times during that whole speech. And then I just had this thought in my mind. I'm like, he's not just a quarterback. Like, he's got that leadership mentality. And you sitting here talking, it's like, am I going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm in awe of the BSU quarterback, that kind of stuff? But it's like, you're a real person.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm trying to say is, you're a football player, yes. You're an athlete, yes. You're a scholar too, which goes into something that Matt had written down is, you know, you've been a Mountain West Scholar athlete once or twice.
Twice, right?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how that works, but this last semester is my first semester not having a 4.0 in college.
Well, which to me is just crazy, but it goes to show you as a person, but also there's more to college football than football.
Yeah.
And so kind of talk about that balance of academics and athletics.
D1 athletics.
Yeah. Well, it's not easy. And this semester is going to be one of my hardest semesters I've had, because I'm trying to graduate a semester early. So I'll try to graduate with my bachelor's degree in this fall after the season. And then get an early head start on my master's to hopefully finish it before, or like the semester after I'm done playing football. And so this semester I've got 5 classes, and they're all level 400 classes. They're super difficult, but like the thing that I've realized is like you just can't stop going. Like whenever you want to go sit on the couch and scroll through Instagram or just do those things, it's like no, you got to go up. I'll go up to my room and I just got to open my computer and just start typing. Start doing homework, because you have to stay on top of everything, because once you fall behind, like you're way behind. And one of the best things that I think I learned, I want to say it was from either Iyer or Murphy. They were just talking about in college, like you just got to turn stuff in. That's half the battle. Like once you're late, that's what gets you behind. That's what docks you a whole lot of points, is because you just don't turn something in, or you turn something in late. So just staying on top of your work is half the battle, because then we're like I was saying, I'm in the facility from like 6 a.m. to noon in the off season every day, maybe later, just doing workout, treatment, rehab, film, all that stuff. And then you got to go home after you're tired and you want to take a nap. It's like, no, you got to go. I'll go to the library, sit down, and just try to grind out as much homework as I can. That way, we can go make steaks as a house and just have a nice dinner and be able to like kind of decompress after, a long day. But it's a lot to balance, but it takes a lot of, consistency and discipline on my part to do that.
Gotcha. Were you a 3-year starter at Skyview?
2-year.
2-year starter. Okay, gotcha. When was it, would you say, during your time at Skyview, and I want to hear what you think as well, Coach, when was it that you thought I could be a D1 quarterback? When was it that you said I can play for Boise State? And then the follow-up to that, when did you decide I'm going to become a walk-on, pretty much knowing that you'd be able to?
Yeah. Well, I would say going into my first start against Columbia, my junior year, I was super nervous. It's varsity football. It's like, whoa, this is kind of crazy that I'm going to be starting now. And then I think it was the first drive. I ended up, I think it was Tarek threw a deep ball. It was one of the first plays of the game, and I ended up connecting with one of the receivers for like a 40, 50-yard gain, and then I was like, okay, this is just football.
First play of the game.
I don't know if it was first play.
Okay.
It was the first drive for
Okay.
sure. But that one sticks out to me, and just like, okay, this is just football. Like, just throwing the ball, I've been doing this my whole life. And from that point on, it's like, okay, this is what I want to do. I know I can be good at this if I just keep on grinding. And then to answer your second part of your question was, it happened super fast, deciding I wanted to walk on at Boise State. Recruiting was super slow for me. I had a bunch of, NAIA and Frontier Conference offers, and then a bunch of the D3s around the area, like Linfield and Whitworth and those. And I had a good relationship with Plow, who was the old OC. And he kind of brought up the opportunity, the idea of being a walk-on, and then obviously he left the program, and I thought Boise State was out the window. But then as soon as Coach Bush Hamden came on campus, he got it in like a Monday. He called me on a Tuesday, said that he was coming in on Friday. He came in on Friday morning, offered me the preferred walk-on spot, and we're like, I talked with my family. We kind of had an idea of that was coming. And Coach Young wouldn't let me commit on the spot. He's like, take a second, talk to your family. We have talked. So ended up, they came to my basketball game that night, had a great game, beat Bishop Kelly. Nice. And then the next morning, me and my family went in, walked around the facilities for like the 50th time, and decided we wanted to commit and, fully go in on this thing.
Awesome.
Now I have a question here before we get to you, because I watched the broadcast of the games, and they have pictures of you and Boise State, stuff from a little kid and growing up and all that. But Coach Young made you wait on making that decision?
He was just like, because he was the one that told me, he's like, they're probably going to give you preferred walk-on. This is something I think, and it was the same thing with Roby, like just talking with it. this is what you want to do. Like, this is probably your best opportunity. Like, I believe in you. You got to believe in yourself. I think it was more for just for the coach's side of it. I don't, it just taking 12 hours, 24 hours,
That makes
whatever it
sense.
was.
But was
But-
there ever a doubt in your mind?
No,
Okay.
no, there wasn't.
So Coach, what's your side of that whole story when you knew that from starter to BSU?
I think one of my strongest memories of Max was throwing him in our playoff game, the last playoff game of his sophomore year. Our starter broke his ankle like right in the first drive, and then Max was up, and Max went in and the offense was smooth. And, even throwing the ball was smooth. Even in our staff, we were having conversations about how Max was pushing already, and we could see that he could do some intangible things that we weren't able to do at that time. And probably my biggest regret, we lost that game to Timberline, that we ended up winning the previous game, and we had like 4 turnovers. So our defense played really well, and we still won the game with 4 turnovers. So my biggest goal was not to put Max in position where he had to turn the ball over. I ended up calling kind of a conservative game, and then we ended up losing by a score.
Oh.
But I thought Max really showed his potential in that moment, in that game. The moment wasn't too big for him. And sometimes, you just get that beginner's luck surge, and, you go in and do it. But I think pretty early on, we knew that Max we've had a lot of good quarterbacks at Skyview, but there's certain things about Max that made him our first one that we really thought we could get to the D1 level. And we felt strongly about that even from the time he was pretty young, that he could go play at that level, and that our offense and our system could help showcase some of his talents and things that he did. We went to Boise State camp the 2 or 3 years that he was in high school, and Boise State fell in love with what he could do at camp, and they got a close-up look at what he could do in our offense, and they loved Max from the get-go. So we weren't surprised that he did get that offer, that he got that opportunity. We weren't surprised that he kept moving his way up either. We knew that Max was really good, and sometimes being the local kid, you don't get the same flash or pub or rankings or stars that comes with it. But I think Max was definitely worthy of all those things, even back when he was in high school. Like you said, you pulled up the film, like the film doesn't lie. It looks good, and a lot of the things that he's doing now, he was still doing back then. Our team overall wasn't as good as we would have liked it to be, and I think that kind of diminished some of the attention that Max got. He was only second team all conference his senior year, but I think his ability has always shown through, and he's done a tremendous job as quarterback, and nothing that he's done or will do will surprise us. Like I've said before, that I wouldn't be surprised to see Max play at the next level, at the NFL level, because he's got that type of demeanor. He's got the type of drive and passion that's necessary, and he's got the tools to do it. He's a pretty special kid, and you have to be a special person in many different ways to make it at the level he's at and at the next level as well.
And there's a hidden storyline here. It's kind of ironic. He gets in the playoff game with a broken ankle. You go in after Madsen hurts his ankle. I can't remember. Did he break it
Lower body injury.
There we go. Whatever the term. But if I'm a teammate of yours, I'm wrapping my ankles every time I'm around you.
Well, just the quarterback in front of Max.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I'll take the tinfoil hat back off now.
Yeah.
Right.
Max, you already talked a lot about just how different things are now at the D1 level. It's like there's no breaks, it seems. Or if you want to break, you got to grind for a majority of the day in order to make a couple steaks with your guys or something like that. What would you say for any maybe Skyview kids, any NSD kids listening right now? What is a habit that you have now that maybe you didn't have in high school when it comes to being a student and an athlete?
That's a good question. I would say kind of what I was touching on earlier was when I need to get stuff done, go find a space not in my house to do those things. You know, like I got a computer this last season, that way I could watch film at home and watch it in my bed. Quickly found out that does not work for me.
A lot of distractions.
There's too many distractions. And so whether it is football wise, going into the facility, going into my meeting room and just watching film that way, or like I was saying with school, go to Starbucks and do my homework, or go to the library and do my homework. Like utilize those spaces. And I know there were so many opportunities at Skyview that I could have done the same things, which I didn't take advantage of. And I think now there's so many opportunities at Boise State that I'm trying to I'm still not perfect at it, but like you just try to take all those opportunities that are there and really use them to your benefit. I think that goes a long way.
Is that just a self-discipline thing, or is that something maybe coaches from Boise State have tried to instill in you? Because I think back to college, the distractions were crazy. I think, how did I graduate college? Because the people I lived with, oh my God. But I didn't, remove myself enough, I feel, to get those high grades. So is this just a self-discipline thing or just kind of a instilled?
I think a little bit of both. I think my parents have pushed me a whole lot.
Nice.
And to get good grades, and I've kind of understood what it takes to get those grades that I want, or the success that I want. But then it comes down to actually leaving, because you're just talking about roommates. I live with five of my teammates, so there's 6 guys in the house. There's a dog running around, and there's a lot going on. And there, I could sit on the couch and talk with the guys for hours. But there's at some point I have to get up and leave the house, and they'll be like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to the library." "Why are you going to the library?" "I need to leave the house. Like, let me leave, please."
Let me leave. Are you allowed to say who you live with?
Yeah, I live with Jason Steele, Mitch Bothell, who just graduated, and then I live with Austin Terry, Roger Carrion, and AJ Mays.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and then before that, I did live with Maddox. He was in the house, and Jake Ripp, and then they moved out, and I've been living with these guys this last 6 months.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to shift a little forward here to, let me check the date here, November 1st of this past year when you guys are playing Fresno. And it's going to be a twofold question. Injury happens. I want to know what your first thoughts were of, I'm in. And then what did you think when you first heard of that? And Max is going in and he's going to be in. So I'll let either one of you guys start that.
I'll take it first.
You were there.
Yeah. I don't think you really get an option to think. And I think that's what, going through each game as a backup, it's not easy, because there's some games where, you might get a bunch of minutes, and there's some games where you might get 0 minutes. So it's tough to fully stay ready for those moments, because you need to prepare like you're the starter. And they say that all the time. And it's easy to think, I'm not going to play. Like, I'm just, I know these plays. I'm going to just go through the week. But I really tried to, like I was saying, prepare like the starter. And then actually when we're at the game, I'll be standing next to my coach. I'll be going over the plays. I'm going over them in my mind. So I'm trying to put myself in the game as best as I can from the sideline, which also isn't easy. And then once he goes down, it's like, there's no looking around for what's next. It's like, you got to go in and you have to play. Like, there's no other thinking other than, you got to believe that you're ready for this moment, and you got to go in and you got to play. And that was really all that was going through my mind was, what's the first play?
Coach?
So I don't think I found out. We were in the middle of football, wrapping it up. So I have responsibilities on the weekend. I don't think I found out till after the game. And my boys were talking about it. They were like, "Hey, Dad, Max went in, Maddox went down. Max didn't do very good." So they were upset about that. But I think my initial feeling and my reaction was that Max was ready, and that I had confidence. Even if, like, I did a couple of radio interviews the week later, people were wanting to talk to me about,
Including this guy.
I remember that.
What are we getting into?
Thanks for joining.
What are we wanting to? We want to know, about Max, and I guess my biggest feeling was I know the preparation that Max put into it. I know the type of kid that he was, and all of us. If you're pushing at the highest level, you're going to have bad days. So like, I knew that good days were coming for Max and for the Broncos, because I believed in his work and in his preparation. And that's really what carries you through. It's not necessarily the emotion of the moment or like the luck. It's more just like your preparation ends up shining through. And I think, we definitely saw that in the Utah State game, is all of Max's preparation. And, a trip to the conference championship game was on the line. They're in a tough atmosphere. Max has to guide the team through, and, he did. He clutched up and got it done there in that moment. And, that's exactly, what I anticipated and what I expected to see. So none of it surprised me, but all of it was fun. Like I have a good time watching Max now, because like I don't have to live and die with every
snap
play or have to decide what's next. I just get to like see it unfold, and it is fun to watch Max play and to see him perform. You see a lot of characteristics that are familiar. It feels familiar to me, but it's also new as well, because it's all unfolding at lifetime for me.
Well, and he didn't even just like rise up. I mean, he went 26 of 49 for 341 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's insane numbers. I mean, I know no clue. I was a center in high school. I just blocked, but to put up those numbers, I mean, as a coach, you got to be sitting there like, I did that. In a way.
That was me. Just take all the credit. Yeah.
Max alluded to this, but like I think one of the biggest compliments that Max ever gave me, or I've ever received by a former player, was Max was buried in the depth chart, and he was playing for Coach Cutter at Boise State, but he was working his way up the depth chart. And he basically told me that he had a great advantage over the players that he was competing against because of the system that he played in and because of the things he learned playing for us at Skyview. And those were things that I had felt were true even before he went to Boise State. But it was fun to hear the confirmation. It was fun to hear like Max say, "Yeah, Coach, like what you're doing it really prepared me well to succeed at this level." And so it kind of, made everything full circle, and, made it all seem worth it. Like Skyview was where Max was supposed to be. And I don't think Max would be at the point he's at without Skyview. I think everything was meant to work out the way it did.
And that's really interesting because, sorry, Matt, here. I
That's
don't
all
want
right.
to lose my train of thought. Dirk Cutter, former head BSU coach, goes out to the NFL, runs an NFL offense, literally ran an NFL offense before coming back to BSU. So that's I don't even know the right words that I'm trying to say, but that's a huge compliment to be able to say, like, your program basically got you ready for an NFL playbook.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've said that forever now. And obviously it can't prepare me fully for it because there's, I guess there's only
The sheer volume is
there's only
a lot
like
different.
30 other people that you have to get on the same track, and that's a battle in itself. But I think the ideas and the schemes and the different moving parts within Roby's offense, I think really like I said, it gave me an advantage because I understood, okay, this is this part of the play, this is this part of the play. You compare this with this and all these different moving parts that just helped me to learn it quicker.
How thick are the playbooks compared?
Well, we don't even have a playbook. It's literally
It's all digital.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I'm saying you got to learn this play, but then there's this many ways that we can run it, and then there's this play, and there's this many ways. Like it's just
it's
never ending.
Nothing like NCAA 26,
No.
where you have the
Or
same
Yoda.
thing and there's all a few things. Last time I played him, I destroyed him, but
Yeah.
we
Did
won't
you?
talk
I don't
about
know
that.
if that's true.
I have it on video.
Dang it.
One last question that I have before I let Matt ask you 15 more. So when I heard that you were starting and it was official, it was announced, I quickly scrambled to make a graphic, and you've probably seen the graphic where I have a picture of you at Skyview and then a picture of you at BSU.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put the picture of Skyview's turf behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, hey, this is gonna be the coolest thing ever. And I post it and nobody's liking it. I'm like, dang. But that was cool to me because I took the first picture that was there. Like that was me out of my camera.
Yeah.
And then to see a professional picture next to it at BSU, it's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's the cliche thing that everybody's heard, first, local kid from how many years, decades to start for BSU. And then I started seeing people share it and the media go, and it's like, okay, that's cool for me. But how did it feel for you to see you side by side?
It was pretty sweet. It is cool. I mean, and like what you were saying, like from when I was little, wearing those BSU jerseys, it's like this is, what I dreamed of for the longest time. And in the moment, like there was so much going on that I don't think it fully hit me until, I think it was really after the Colorado State game, my first start on the blue, where I was like, this is pretty cool. Just being from here, going to these games for the longest time, growing up here, going literally 30 minutes from the campus, and then to do this and to be, doing all these interviews after the games, and I was player of the game just for Boise. Like I was a player of the game that game, and it was just like, this is pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me ask you talking about what Coach Roby was talking about in terms of confidence, in terms of you having that confidence, that swagger, something you've had for a long time, but in a quiet way in a lot of cases. One press conference I particularly was like, oh yeah, Max, that you might remember. I think it was right before you were going to get your first start. Maybe it was going to the second game or something like that. But one of the media members asked you basically, I wish I can remember the exact everything that was said, but it was something along the lines of, what's your plan? You gonna just, hold down the fort or something like that, expecting you to say, the typical kind of canned answer of, it's Maddox's team and I'm just going to play my part. And you said, no, wow. You know what you said. It was basically like, no, I think I'm good enough to be the best. I want to be on this team for years to come as long as I'm here, and I want to be the guy.
Yep.
I loved that answer. I also know you have a great relationship with Maddox as well. So how do you find that balance? Obviously, you're a competitor. You're a warrior. You want to be out there. You want to be QB1. But I'm not even sure what the question is, but just talk about your mentality kind of going into that, and just how you can have that balance of, staying friends, I guess you can say.
Yeah. And it's pretty tough to do that. 'Cause you are competing in everything that you do. whether it's the weight room and all these different things. And I think we push each other very well. I think he's a great person to push me. And, you know, he's been there my 3 years that I've been here as well. And obviously we're super close, but at the end of the day, like I'm trying to be the best that I can be. And I live by that. Like there's nothing that I can do to change how Maddox is what Maddox is doing or what anybody else is doing. All I can focus on is what I'm doing. And I think that he thinks the same way. Like he's just doing the best that he can. And I try to know my place and kind of have respect for him because he's a 3-year starter. He's got 3 Mountain West Championship rings that he played a huge part or a huge role in. And so like I'm not gonna try to undercut him or, you know, steal reps from him or like just be rude to him. Like that's something that really grinds my gears is when somebody does that to me. And so I give him the utmost respect. I think he is a phenomenal player, and he's a great person to learn from. He pushes me to be my best, and then all I can focus on, like I said, is being my best and let the cards fall how they may, or however that saying goes. Like it's just whatever is meant to happen will happen, and they'll play the best person, and I'm trying to be the best person.
Gotcha. That's a great answer. I love that right there. Let me go back to really quick. Mountain West Scholar Athlete. You've been that twice. You're majoring in business administration.
Yep.
What is your future post football look like someday? You know, hopefully NFL.
Yeah.
But at some point, when obviously we can't all play forever, what do you have in mind? What's the dream?
Business.
Okay.
I'm not.
Skyview football coach.
There we go.
I haven't fully put together totally what I want to do. That's why, business administration I felt very safe in. It's very broad. And the great thing about going to Boise State, being a local guy, like I'm trying to fully lean into that brand because I'll have my foot in a lot of doors once football is over. Just because, I'm a local kid, then I went to Boise State, I had a successful career, and then it's all those things and all those intangible things that I've learned, all the hard work, the discipline, the consistency, all the, pressure, all that stuff. I think that will get my foot into a lot of doors in the business in the business world and around the valley. So that's kind of what I'm banking on right now. And there's plenty of opportunities. I think it was last Monday, we had this thing called Connect. It's just a Connect event where a bunch of business owners who are typically alumni or boosters or whoever it is, they come, and it's for all of athletics, and you're just walking around shaking a million people's hands, talking to people, just connecting. And that's something I'm really focusing on right now is networking, and I believe that'll take me into a field that I'm very confident in and that I enjoy being in.
Nice.
Now that said, you mentioned alumni, and I just had this thought come to my mind, and I didn't want to save it to the end because it's too cool. Who is the one alumni BSU legend, however you want to put it, that you have met that the 7-8-year-old you would have been like, there's no way you just sat and talked to that kid?
And why is it Richie Brockle?
I would say probably Brett Rippon.
Oh.
That one was pretty cool. Pretty cool to see him. I'm still waiting for Kellen Moore to walk through the door. Haven't met him. But I'd say Brett Rippon, just because he was the quarterback for the longest time when I was fully understanding football a little bit better, and the success that he had and success that he's still having, bouncing around the NFL, trying to find a job. I think that was super cool to hear what he had to say. Yeah.
And of course, you played with Ashton Genty, so we can't really.
Yeah. So I
him.
can't say that one, but he was a phenomenal guy too. Loved Ashton.
What was that like, just watching him, either you handing off to him or just from the sideline? What was that experience like?
Yeah, I can't explain it.
Man.
There was plenty of times I'm like, oh, there he goes again. It didn't make sense. Like the amount of 60-yard runs that he had was unbelievable.
And not just against his Cougs.
No,
My
well,
Cougs.
there was a good amount. There was a good amount there, but it was it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then towards the end of the season, it was just kind of expected, and it was like it wasn't wowing anymore because that's what he did. But then reflecting back on it, it's like, how did he do that day in and day out? Like I played back to back in 4 games. My body was killing me.
Yeah.
And I was playing quarterback. He was playing running back, getting all these carries, running for, 200 yards plus a game. And I was like, it gave him, like, I had to give him a ton of respect after that.
What was it like seeing that dude in the weight room?
That was pretty nuts too. Just how fast he'd move 600 pounds on his back is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And now we've got these computers tracking our bar speed and everything. And like, yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get how he got that high of numbers. And then watching these linemen squat, and they get it, but they wouldn't let him go over 600 pounds. And just how fast he moved the bar was crazy to see.
Yeah. Gotcha. Coach, what was this guy like in the weight room at Skyview?
I think one of the things that we didn't really talk about was just how Max has always been a leader. He was definitely a leader in the weight room. You can hear him, talk about competing in the weight room. That's one thing that we've always tried to set as a standard for our quarterbacks is the quarterback needs to lead in the weight room. Even if you're not the biggest or the strongest, that's really where leadership of the football team begins, is right there in that room. So Max has always been very willing to do the things that are necessary to be successful. So whatever we asked him to do, we gave him his playbook, and he'd come back and have it all drawn up, hand drawn. His work ethic, has been exceptional, and that's a predictor of success as well. That's one of the reasons that we expected him to be so successful, is he's always led in the weight room, led on the field, led in the classroom. It was phenomenal to me. Like, I've been at Skyview for 20 years, and I can't really think of another example like Max, of an individual that grew up outside of our community and became such an impactful leader for our school. Like, Max had a huge impact on Skyview, and it wasn't just because he's Max Cutforth. It was because Max was truly genuine. He cared about the people in the building, staff and students, and he made Skyview a better place. So it was a better place because Max was there. So he definitely, carries that with him wherever he goes, where he's pouring into, whatever he's associated with. So right now you can see him like pouring into Boise State, and he's making Boise State a better place. And a lot of people won't credit him or realize that till he's gone. But like he does that everywhere he goes, is he makes an impact for good.
Nice. All right, we're starting to run out of time. I got to ask you something though, in terms of just kind of your off-field things. Is there something that you feel like you excel at outside of football that you golf? Okay, gotcha. All right, good to know. But like a skill or something you have that you've just either really enjoy or just are really good at that you feel helps you on the field.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Math?
Math? Yeah, maybe. No, I don't know. I mean, I think a bunch of it is just relationships. Like, I mean, golf is a great example. Like, the amount of different people you can go golf with, who's good, who's bad, like, that'll connect everybody, because everybody hates golf, but they all love it too. It's like, it's such a love-hate relationship, and the different people that you can go out with is great. the last month or two, I started getting into duck hunting too, and it's the same thing, like just the different people that you can go with, and it's a different environment. You're talking about different things. Got super close with our athletic trainer because he was going out with us, and I think just in those different things is just having a good time and creating those relationships with people, getting into deep conversations, making you think a little bit. I'd say that.
Nice. Okay, I'm just about out. One thing, if you could talk to 17-year-old Max Cutforth going into senior season at Skyview, talk to him now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you tell him?
I'd say probably keep going, keep grinding. There's always more to do. Like, I felt like I was doing a ton. There's always more to do. And then just enjoy every moment of it. I think that's something I did a pretty good job at in high school, was just enjoy every moment, because I understood that it wasn't going to be forever. Enjoy every moment of that, enjoy every moment of the recruiting process, and then even getting into college, like just enjoy every moment of it, because that, at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Gotcha. Lastly, what would you say, it doesn't have to be this guy, the best advice you've ever gotten from a coach, or maybe a parent, or just someone you look up to?
Man, it's a tough question. I can't think of anything right now.
And after that, I went, and maybe I should ask you then first, Coach Roby. What is some sage advice that maybe you consistently give to your players or students or whoever it might be, that you feel is something that is you're going to have forever, that you're always going to pass down?
So one thing that I hope my players always carry with them are our goals, our program goals. So program goal number 1 is get better every day. And I think that's kind of what Max is talking about, is like, staying engaged and focused. And if you're present, if you show up, you're going to get better. Program goal number 2 is beat Nampa. And then program goal number 3 is beat Columbia. So I think, that brings the fun into it, as well as just like, the rivalries that we have here, they're special. They're special opportunities for our kids to compete and create memories. And, like Max talked about playing Columbia and just the memories that we have from those battles and those things like that. And the anticipation of the next one, is really what helps us build our program and builds our kids. So I think it's a blessing.
Great stuff. Max, you think of anything?
I'd have to probably say from Casey Bonds. He'd tell me all the time, and he even tells me now, just to be you.
Nice.
Just be you. Everybody loves you for you. Don't change for anything, anybody. Just do you.
I like that.
I'd say that probably.
Nice.
Sure.
You be you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can't see him off screen here, but Will Barber's back there. He's behind the camera. He's not running the camera. Don't worry, people. It's still in focus. But those NSD rivalries, they're intense. And I get the joy of going between both sidelines at those games, taking pictures. And I hear one group of coaches yelling at the other group of coaches, and it's going back and forth. I'm like, if you guys only heard yourselves, you're saying the exact same things. Like, it's just hilarious. But that said, I do end my podcast with a random question. And this question is it's a call-in of sort. It's from a staff member here at Lone Star Middle School. He's probably the biggest BSU fan, probably to the point where if you really saw him, you'd be embarrassed for him. And him and I go way back. But he wanted me to ask you about the opener going to Autzen Stadium. And he says thoughts on the game, but I know that's going to be a little difficult right now. But what thoughts on just going to Autzen, being a Bronco? And he does say that Boise is 3-1 versus Oregon all time.
Yep, and that one loss was 2 years ago on our part. So
It was close though. Man,
it was close, but the standard here is to win those games. And so everything that we're doing right now is to prepare for that game. We just got a lot of time to prepare for that game, and so that's what we're focused on, because that's the next game. That's the next biggest thing that's important to us. And like I said, a bunch of us have already been there. It's a great environment, super fun playing there. But this time we got to go handle business.
And it is, so I went there in 2002 when UW was playing Oregon. I was like one row up from the goalpost.
Yep.
It is as loud as people say it is.
Oh, yeah.
I can only imagine it being that much louder on the field, but there were points that my ears were ringing, and it took a good 2-3 days to recover. So on the field, it's true.
It's true. It's extremely loud. It's extremely loud, which makes it, just all that more important right now to, practice our communication and make sure everybody's on the same page. And that way, that crowd noise, it doesn't affect us, as much as it's going to affect you, but as much as you can, just to be able to, tune it out, let it go, and just play ball.
Now that's communication is key. So before Matt ends the show for us, do you guys have any last thoughts or anything that you want to say, vice versa, to each other or to Mr. Barber?
Well, I love Mr. Barber because I worked for him. I appreciate Mr. Barber. I love Max too. I really appreciate everything that he's contributed to my career and also our program. Like our program is different because Max was in it. So I'm really grateful for Max.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate all of you for having me here. Principal Barber was my principal. So, and then, yeah, Coach Roby, I think we let him talk a little bit too much. Yeah. He,
Always dangerous.
Yep. Always dangerous. Kind of hyped me up a little bit too much. No, but I appreciate all of you guys, seriously.
And any thoughts or just some words of wisdom that you want to pass down to current and future Hawks?
Like I said, I would say just enjoy every moment. I think a lot of people say that, but if you truly take that and run with it, enjoy your time in high school, but also work hard within that. Like, enjoy your time working out, working hard, doing homework with your buddies. Like that goes the longest way. That's something that I remember the most in high school was, Principal Barber kicking us out the basketball gym after a girls' basketball game because we just wanted to hang out. Like, that was the most fun. So, or Coach Roby kicking us out of the locker room because we'd stay in there for 3 hours after practice. Like, it was just enjoy those moments because you only get so many of them.
Making memories. Gotcha. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you too much for joining us today. Of course, we had Skyview head coach, football head coach, that is, David Robinson, as well as redshirt junior quarterback for Boise State University, Max Cutforth. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.